so we going, right?
We are, yeah.
All right. So listen, welcome to the first episode of the Good Sis Podcast. Yes, ma'am. So this podcast is all about our love for Black media. Okay. I'm one of your hosts, Manna, and this is my good sis.
Chop.
This is my good sis Chop. And listen, we love any type of Black literature, writing, romance, mystery, suspense, historicals, you name it, we've probably read it. But before we get started, girl, what you drinking on?
Look, okay, so it's the holidays, right? And I am a lover of all things peppermint. So today I got my Starbucks peppermint mocha, and girl, I done dropped the chocolate, white chocolate Lindor ball in it. Yes, yes, yes. But I kept it classy with my oat milk creamer because you know me, you know my stomach. Yeah, yeah, praise Jesus. Uh, yeah, so that's what I'm drinking on in my
So
mug.
we always be on the same thing because I'm not drinking coffee right now. I'm drinking tea, but it's plenty of peppermint in here because the hawk is out and it's cold and people catching colds left and right. My sister them got a cold, my baby got a cold, and I'm trying not to get the cold. So I got me some ginger in here, some lemon in here, and some turmeric, and I'm drinking hot tea. So that's what she's giving right now.
You and that tea. Okay.
Right. So anyway, so where we at? So today's show is all about our love for the one and only Joan Vassar.
Yes, Lord. Yes.
And when I tell you, let me tell you something. I always say when I see if anybody have an issue with any of her books, I either say it's either one or two things. Either you hadn't read it or you can't read it. Because because her pen is anointed. And we're going to be talking about her newest work, which is Ignite.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
I was excited. You know, it's like Christmas whenever we find out Joan is dropping a book. So she gives us plenty of time in advance to pre-order and to govern ourselves accordingly. So it drops when the day after Thanksgiving. So that was a pleasant little respite that I could take that day.
Oh, was it not?
And eat my leftover turkey and dressing and have that book on my side. And because we actually listened to it first. So
yeah,
we listened to the audio first. So I was able to move about the house and listen to the book. And I'm ready to jump in and take a deep dive, honey. I am.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something. When I first read the synopsis, I already knew. I said, oh, I'm going to like this. Because I love a crime. I love a crime drama. So we got a bank robbery. We got a couple of murders. I'm in, right?
Right. That's you. That's you. I always said it was a little something, little twisted about you. But yeah, that's you.
I love a good book killing. I don't know why I love a good book killing. She gives me that. Joan will out somebody life. And it's a joke, a running joke. So I recently got into the Fort and Beyond Facebook group. I'm already about to be put out, child. I'm having such a good time in there, and I done put my foot in my mouth a couple times. But I love the energy in that Facebook group. Shout out to everybody in the Fort and Beyond. Y'all are already a sisterhood, and y'all gonna have to put me out. That's what you're gonna have to. I'm not leaving. You're gonna have to put me out.
Don't put my aside. Don't put my aside.
So we are just talking about Ignite, and I think Joan has already done a couple interviews and has already shed some light on some things because she is such a deep thought writer that some of the things you may think you have a grasp on, it's all the way another way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, let's jump into the book.
Okay.
So we ain't gonna tell it all because if you have not read, we're gonna have a few spoilers, but we're gonna try to keep it a little bit so we don't tell all the book. But we do want to talk about these characters and what we loved and what we liked. So the book is about three main characters, Truck, Josie, and Corn. Okay? So you have Truck, a good old country boy, mechanic, and this book takes place in the Jim Crow South in 1920s, right?
Atlanta.
You have Corn. He is very immature. I was about to say a little immature, but when I think about how this book started out, that's very immature.
But you know what? Before I know we're just doing the introduction of the character. Not too much on Corn. We'll get into that. Not too much on Corn.
I'm gonna get Corn at all. Okay, but not too much. And then we have Josie. Josie is one of those characters in Joan's books that is so split. I'm back. So Josie is one of those characters that are so split amongst the readers. Some people saw her as an opportunist. Some people saw her as damaged goods. Some people saw her as a survivor. And I like to think of her as an opportunist survivor.
Can you be both?
You can be, two things can be right at the same time. You can be an opportunist and you can also be a survivor.
She started out as an opportunist, but she started out as an opportunist with Corn and ended up being a survivor with Truck.
She started out as a patient with Truck.
A survivor.
But baby, so what we talking about? So let's hop into Truck real quick. And I'm gonna let you have Corn since you might have something good to say about him. So Truck, he is taking on a lot of responsibilities. His aunt and his uncle are in trouble with the bank, and honey, that bank. Anyway, his aunt and his uncle's in trouble with the bank. He get ready to shut the barn down one night, and he finds this woman. It is the woman that he has been longing for, the woman he saw first. And Corn was slick with it and went ahead and got her, even though they was friends. And it's a little messy. The point is, Truck knew that Corn was not going to care for that woman and honor that woman the way she deserved, or at least the way Truck thought she deserved. He already knew who his friend was, and he did not begrudge him for that. It's just sometimes when you know your people, you know your people.
Yeah. And I mean, I think for all intents and purposes, he did see her first, and he was getting ready to approach her. But Corn kind of, I think unbeknownst to Corn, you
don't think it was intentional?
I don't think it was intentional, because how Corn moved throughout the book, and I guess we'll get into that. It's not too much on Corn now. We'll get into that, but I don't know if it was intentional. I know Corn got his ways, but at the end of the day, we can't say he did not love Truck.
Yeah, we can't say he didn't love Truck, but we can say he didn't give a about Josie. We can say that, because even if you immature, the same way you ran and stuffed that girl in the barn and covered her in rags, you could have ran them other 50 feet in the house and said, Josie out here about dead, y'all come help me.
Well, maybe he was running for his life. Maybe he was running for his life. How about that? Okay.
You ran for your life, but you had time to go out into the country and put somebody in the barn and wrap them up in old rags.
Not too much on Corn. Continue.
No, ma'am. But you know what got me is when the uncle told Truck. Basically, I'm paraphrasing here. Basically, he was like, you gonna nurse this girl back to life, and she gonna run back to Corn. I told you when I read that. Now, see, I was wrong about a lot of stuff in this book. I'm all in the Fort and Beyond group. Wrong. I don't care. But I was wrong.
Loud and wrong. Loud and wrong.
I don't care. Like I said, they're going to have to put me out of them. But but now I was wrong when I talked to you, because I told you I felt like Corn stabbed him. I was like, I wouldn't put it past him to be the one that stabbed him. Not wrap my head around so you would just leave this girl in the bar and not know if she was gonna live or die. Truck could have had to use the bathroom that day. He could have been called away for something for his uncle. His uncle could have failed and had an episode. Anything could have distracted him from finding her in that barn, and Joseph would have been the first casualty of Ignite.
But you know what that says, though? For him to have done that says that Truck is consistent.
Oh, Truck is consistent.
He is consistent, and he knows his best friend. He's consistent. So he knew Truck's routine, and nothing too much is gonna veer from Truck's routine because Truck is consistent. He gonna make sure that barn's taken care of. He gonna make sure his uncle is taken care of. Plus, Truck had a village. Corn didn't have a set village because he wasn't even pretty much welcome where he already was. But Truck had a village. He had his auntie and he had his uncle. So he knew that Josie perhaps could have been in the best care being dropped off at that barn because one, Truck is consistent and he would have found Josie. And two, because Aunt Bertha was there and he knew Aunt Bertha was going to make sure that woman was nursed back to health. And the feelings that he, I guess, finally knew that Truck felt for Josie. Because I believe he knew that later on that Truck had a thing for Josie and he wasn't going to just let Josie fall by the wayside.
Let me tell you something. This man knew from the beginning that Truck had a thing for, maybe not from the first time he talked to her. I give you that. It might have been some innocence at the juke joint. But when he came to Truck about robbing that bank, he knew he wanted Josie because he strategically placed her in place to try to lure Truck in to work with her. And then you sitting up at, let me tell you something. First of all, Corn done got a taste of city slick in life. He done been up there to New York and he was already a little slick. But when he came back after he hadn't been enlightened and he done knew, he done talked to, listen to Marcus Garvey. He done came back enlightened. He was slick with it. And I think that he knew that Truck had a sweet spot for her. And I don't know. When I first started off, I just really want to shake Corn. I just want to shake him. I just want to, because I don't like how you left that woman there. And you put Truck in a position for his hands to be tied. But what Truck did was Uno reverse. Because you thought Truck was so consistent that he would nurse that woman and give her back to you because he's sweet and steady green Truck, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Truck Uno reversed that joke and said, you ain't getting this woman back.
Mine.
I'm keeping her.
Mine. Joan Vassar staple. Mine.
And that's where he messed up because you come back days later talking about basically talking about is Josie here? No, baby. Mrs. Truck is here. You ain't get this woman back.
And quiet as kept, she knew.
Oh yeah.
Josie knew. It's a done dollar. It's done.
And I think Josie had the ability to weigh a situation. She had done been there before, right? With Oscar and Tobias.
Mm-hmm.
She had done been in a situation where she could see how things were going to play out. And I don't think she knew that Tobias was going to nut up and kill everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But she could see the danger in him, and his brother kind of played it off, right? She was like, I don't really fool, and he was asking her, do you got a problem with my brother? And she like, nah, I ain't got a problem with your brother. But it was kind of like, he knew that Tobias made her uncomfortable. Like he could tell, he laughed it off too. But I think this time around, after that debacle, she had learned some lessons and Josie was looking for stability. And she knew Corn could not give her that. Yeah. She hadn't already started getting ready to escape Corn. And Corn started to panic. And he was like, oh, wait. Before you go, baby, I'm going to talk Truck into robbing the bank. You know what I'm saying?
Like a last ditch effort.
Yes, like a last ditch effort. And he had not really thought anything through. And that's why I felt like Corn couldn't be offended. He couldn't really be offended when Truck decided to rob the bank after meeting the brother. What did you think about? So hold on, y'all. Sorry, family. We had a slight technical glitch. Let's get right back into it because we ain't gonna gloss over that like that didn't happen. We'll try our best to fix it in post-production. But anyway, so what did you think about the brothers, Hollis and Titus?
I love Hollis and Titus. I was a little iffy about them at first, but I think we were first introduced to Hollis in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a little iffy about Hollis in that whole bank scene, but when he came up and did the whole rescuing Truck from his own self with that crazy banker, I was like, okay, he mean well. And then later on, we're introduced to Titus at Hollis's house.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a little iffy about Titus, but off the bat, we already know that Titus was shady.
I feel like Titus is really a legit career criminal.
Right. That's what
And
I
I
mean
think,
by shady. That's what I mean by shady.
and also, we supposed to get another book, right? Just this little tidbit. I believe this is a series. And I think that we're going to really get to explore the criminal element.
Hold on. Okay.
So I do believe that the brothers are full-blown criminals. And I think that this is a series, and we're going to be able to get some more of the criminal element of Titus and Hollis in book 2. So we ain't even going to...
Okay. I was like, is there going to be a book 2? Is this series?
I really feel like this is a series. I think that I've heard... I don't want to just put, just say Joan has a series, but I really feel like I heard that this is a series, and I think it is. I asked it in the group to be sure. I asked in the group, but I'm almost 99.9% sure the series, and it's called Sedition.
Oh, okay.
That name rings a bell, right?
It does. Mm-hmm. It does.
So anyway, we ain't gonna get on that until we know for sure and we understand for sure and all of that. We're not gonna, we're not gonna count our chickens until they hatch or whatever the saying is.
Mm-hmm. Count the cart before the horse.
The cart before the horse. So where were we? We were talking about the brothers, Hollis and Titus, and they come into the story. Like you said, I believe Hollis was the one who stopped him from jumping on Caldwell.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a significant point, too, in Truck's life, because one of the things that I love about Joan's books is she always has this running theme of the definition of manhood and being a Black man in America. And there's only so much Truck can take from this man. He know for a fact that he is right. First of all, before we even get into the banker, because if I get on that banker, I may never stop. So I'm not even going to go there. I say that point for later. But Truck knows that he is being duped and the family is being duped, right?
Right.
And he also knows that this man is playing on his intelligence. He's playing on his manhood. And it's only so much he can take. And then he has this offer in the back of his head, like, Coin is willing to rob this fool. Why, why shouldn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So when they come up, when he presents this offer, just kind of jokingly as he's talking about, as he's venting about the banker, they're like, yeah, let's do it. And I just love that part.
Just so easy.
So easy. Yeah, let's do it.
So
let's rob this fool.
Even though they know how green Truck is. Oh, which was interesting because Joan's writings, you never get a green male character. It's always the females that are a bit green. So to have a male character come in green, it's a bit refreshing and it's a bit surprising for me. But him being green still did not take away from his ability to be able to do what needed to be done.
Baby, you know what it gave? Low key, because you just said that. It reminds me of Sunday. The way Truck's character changed, y'all, we done switched books. We talking about the Black series now. And every time we talk about Joan, y'all go ahead and get ready, get mad, get sad, turn, unfollow, unfriend. We gonna talk about the Black series.
Yep.
We gonna talk.
How can you not?
We gonna talk about the Black series. So don't even look crazy when we start that up. Anyway, it reminds me of Sunday because Sunday was green.
Very much so.
And when Black got hurt, it was like something clicked. It did not stop her from doing what needed to be done. And that is what I love about Truck, right? Truck was green, but when it was time for him to activate and show that manhood, he took over this whole squad. And he did it so man.
And they followed suit. They followed suit. But you know what? Mm-hmm. I already think that everybody's gonna key in. When you're going between these books, I already think that everybody's gonna key in. Like Miss Josie, I'm pretty sure she's a descendant of somebody from the parlor. And on the chair.
Interestingly enough, That was a conversation in the Facebook group, or either in the spoiler chat. I can't remember, but somebody said, "Who does Josie remind you?" And I said, for me, she puts me in the mind between Anna and who was the girl they rescued from Campbell Peak, Miss Caroline. And it wasn't because of her mannerisms, it was because of how everybody around her treated her. You know, when Anna first came to the fort, when Anthony got Anna, they was looking at her like, this lady from the cat house. You know, Albert then was looking at, you know what I'm saying?
Like Uncle Alvin was.
Like Uncle Alvin was. Like, honey, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. That's basically what they were saying. That, you know. And so it put me in the mind of that, like how the men who visit and frequent these places, the men who enjoy these types of women, they never get the stain on them. Right?
Not at all.
It's the woman who gets the stain on her. And that's another reason why I call Josie a opportunist survivor, because Josie definitely recognizes the commodity she has in her femininity, in her womanhood. I think she even says that in the book, that thing is a commodity.
She does. She knows.
So at the end of the day, it's like, how mad can we be at Josie? How much can we judge her for working with what playing the hand she's dealt
in that time? Because we have to remember, this is what, the 1920s.
It's the 1920s.
So in that time,
we in the thick of Jim Crow.
Right.
So let's rewind. We're talking about Atlanta, the Atlanta area in the 1920s. The boys get together. They got to do a pickup of some liquor, of some moonshine, or drop off of some liquor in Forsyth County.
That was a pivotal moment for me with corn.
Yeah.
I mean, like them or not, that was a pivotal moment for me with corn, because it was like, okay, you could be related to Simon.
Oh, corn swallowed his pride. Very much so. Very much so. It does remind you how Simon kind of swallowed his pride when Black summoned him. Finally, you know, baby, because corn really could have been like, you know what? Since you want to be dirty, I'll leave you here with your arm broke off and let you take your chances with Hollis and Titus.
And is that before or after? And I don't want to go too much into it because I know we're gonna have a cutoff point. But is this before or after Chuck got petty?
I think it's before.
Before, okay.
I know the petty comment you're thinking about. I think this happened before that. That I think happened after the bank robbery or something like that. No, that happened before the bank robbery. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
So Truck wants corn. He's like, hey, we need another man. If we try to go to Forsyth and do this liquor deal, we gonna get killed. We need a fourth man watching us, because I can't remember what brother is making the deal. I think Hollis is making the deal, and Truck and Titus are in the woods with guns. And while Hollis is making the deal, Truck knows that Hollis needs somebody standing next to him watching his back, because you got these men and they ready to go. Like, they pulling out guns, being slick about it. They never meant to do fair business with those Black men at all.
But prior to Truck and Corn getting involved, Hollis and Titus had already been doing that. So it's interesting. Like, what were you doing before? Like,
they had did it in Forsyth before, and I don't know if they did it for that much.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I definitely would have to go back and I've listened to the book twice. But you make a good point, and that's something I would have to go back and listen for the details of their previous dealings. But you're right; they bought them milk trucks over there, ready to be fixed and ready to go
for that intent, for that
purpose.
So it's you were doing business prior to.
You know, when Truck's other customer came to get his car, and he got mad and was like, "Well, I see you working for the competition." In my mind, I was thinking, we gonna have to kill him. He better be glad he left it alone. Because in my mind, I was like, coming over here asking questions by other customers, pick up your car and leave.
Because she made it a point, but it also brought out something, the entitlement. You working on, the man got to eat.
He got to eat.
He got to eat. So it is the audacity for you to look and see him working with other vehicles and just, have the audacity to get upset for whatever reason.
You telling a black man, you keeping the colors in business. I'm the color I'm trying to keep in business. So
we still gotta eat.
He still has to eat.
He has that $17 note to pay because Uncle Alvin decided to go up there to the bank. And, the man got to eat.
You know what got me? What really, when I already didn't like the bank situation because we knew from the top that bank situation was shady.
Mm-hmm.
Just based on the history and the knowledge we know of sharecropping, of banking, systematic racism in banking institutions, we knew that bank situation was shady. But when Joan illustrates how Truck works hard to get ahead of the payments and pay this man a month ahead, only to get there for this man to tell him to his face, you a month behind.
Take advantage of his I guess illiteracy, but it's crazy because just because he couldn't read didn't mean he was dumb.
He wasn't dumb at all. And the book said that he was actually very smart in math. I don't even think he couldn't read. I think he just wasn't as well a good reader. I don't know if he just couldn't read or if he was. But my point is, not only did the banker take advantage of that, he took advantage of his privilege, and he absolutely exploited the times of Jim Crow. Because who was Truck gonna complain to? What bank manager? What higher up? He was gonna say, hey. So now he has to ask for a receipt, a written note. And then when you ask for a receipt of what's been paid, it's all at the sister bank in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, that's a conversation.
First of all, I know my auntie and my uncle ain't been to North Carolina. I know they hadn't been to North Carolina making no payments. So why would they receipts be in North Carolina? Oh, that just irked me down.
And regardless of what the receipt said, it didn't matter because it was what he recorded that mattered. So I could write you a receipt saying that you paid it off, but it's what I record in the book. And the book said you still 17 payments behind.
Yeah, a $17 behind.
No, 17 payments. Like how many payments did he have? How many payments did he have? Like 20?
I can't remember. But Hollis told him, he said, when you went in there and tried to pay that thing off early, all that did was make that man think that you was trying to be uppity. He didn't look at you and see a man trying to handle his business and be fair in his dealings. He looked at you and thought, I got to put this this inward in his place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it was. And so they go to Forsyth County. They're getting ready to do this moonshine, this liquor deal. And they encounter basically the same thing. These men who they do business with only can see them through the racist lens of Jim Crow. They don't even want to exchange goods and services. They want the liquor. They want to keep the money and kill y'all before y'all get home.
Mm-hmm. And who would care? Who would be the wiser?
Who would care? Who would care? As we go back to Black, there is a quote in the book in James. It actually is in the fort. It's in the last book when James come back and he's all beat up and he comes back to the fort and the young women are hysterical, but the older women are on the porch and they're just kind of calm. Because the older women at the fort understood that Black life could be taken at any moment. And it didn't really matter in America. And that's what was so sad about it. But by the time Jim Crow comes, now we have to be able to maneuver with that reality. Everybody got that reality, not just the old people.
Right. Because at the time, I mean, anybody could get it.
Anybody could get it. In the lynching, they made a reference to Trucks, to all of them being on the verge of getting lynched so many times in this book, because it drives home the point of that was a very real possibility. They did so many things that could have got them put up out of there, could have got them. The whole book really could have had you on edge if you'd really been paying attention, even to the little nuanced things that the brothers did, that Truck did, that Corn did. especially Corn up there in New York. Corn thought he was smooth sailing up in New York, baby. He got a rude awakening.
He did, and I think a lot of them had that misconception that once you went up to, you weren't in the Jim Crow South anymore, that all was well, but they didn't like you up there either.
No, racism was very much still alive in New York. Mm-hmm. So it was, they had to play, deal with the hand that they were dealt, and at the time, so they trying to do this deal. Truck gets injured. This is so bootleg. That is so bootleg that Titus and Hollis took this man to a veterinarian. That is just, but you know what? Jonathan saved their life. Saved his life.
I read a book before. I think it's a book or a movie. You know how you get to read books and so many books and you can't remember if it was a book you read or a movie you watched. But it looked like I remember they were like, well, it's the same medication between the animals.
I think somebody said something like that. But it is not the same.
Well, back then it probably was.
It was all they had.
Yeah.
And the brothers knew, I believe them brothers had dealt with Jonathan before. I mean, that was their cousin. So clearly they had. And they knew Jonathan would practice some discretion. Matter of fact, the book does say he told them, y'all ain't, every time y'all come here, it's some, So yes, he had done dealt with that before. And Jonathan came through.
I was a bit worried. I was a bit worried.
I was a bit worried.
I didn't want nobody knocking on Jonathan door. I don't want nobody knocking on Jonathan door, him and his wife door, because of the shady dealings between Hollis and Titus. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I like how Corn was doing that whole debacle. And I also like when Corn told them, hey, we got to go tell his auntie and his uncle and Josie something. I'm gonna let y'all know right now. You making fool them two old people. But that woman he got back there, you ain't gonna be able to fool her. You have to tell her straight up what's going on. And when they went and knocked on that door to tell Josie that truck had been hurt, she was not with the bull-ish. She was not. She was like, y'all ain't told me nothing. Still lying. Another lie. You wasted 5 minutes. 2 more lies. Yeah, she was not with it. Josie was so intelligent. And that was definitely a turning point in their relationship. Mm-hmm. She was just so worried about truck.
She was. She pulled a, well, no, I won't say she pulled a Sunday, because I don't know who could pull a Sunday. But
nobody can pull a Sunday.
Never mind. My bad, Sunday. I'm a direct descendant.
You a direct?
Who knows? I don't know. It could be somebody from the top.
Oh man, what was her name? Miss Trudy. Miss Trudy from the hen house. You're not sitting up here black skin looking like Miss Trudy.
Oh goodness.
Oh Lord.
But I thoroughly enjoyed that first half of the book.
Oh yeah, it was beautifully done.
It was
beautifully done. Everything about that first half was beautiful, from the history of Josie, understanding her abuse, from Corn going to New York, finding a piece of his manhood, opening and expanding his consciousness, right? After seeing Marcus Garvey and listening to his teachings, and then he comes back because he done had to deal with, the racism. He comes back because he has to deal with the racism, and he has a whole new perspective. Mm-hmm. And
a goal.
He wants to do more than just exist. He wants to be somewhere where he can thrive. He wants to go to Africa where all the people look like him. And there is no guarantee of success in Africa. Right?
Right.
But there is the chance that he will be able to live and be expressive in his manhood. And they just aren't allowed to do that in Jim Crow. Mm-hmm. In Jim Crow, a Black man is still not supposed to own anything. He's not supposed to be able to claim anything. He's still very much supposed to be submissive to his white counterparts. And they just decide not to accept that.
And you're a man if I tell you you're a man. And you're a man if I tell you you're a man, and anything else, you're a boy.
Right.
You're a boy.
So anyway, how do you feel? Is this a good stopping point? We're gonna have to make this 2 parts, because anytime we get to talking about a Joan Vassar novel, we can go on and on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good stopping point. That way we can
So
our thoughts, because honey, we were all over the place. Because I was just so excited about this book and getting it out. That's our hope for those who have read. This is definitely for somebody, for people who have read the book.
oh
But
yeah,
you
if
know,
you
if you
read
haven't,
the
yeah,
book,
if you have not read the book, then you don't need to be watching this.
if you haven't read the book and you done stayed this long, I'm sorry. You might well go ahead and get download that audio book, honey. You might well go to Audible because
and
you done
listen.
been spoiled.
Yeah, pretty much. And gave out some nuggets, but yeah, I think it's a good stopping point for us, and we can pick back up and we can dive a little bit more into this old banker. Your friend is the banker.
Oh, the banker, a low down bald monkey with a wig on. What Nene said, a low down monkey with a wig on, or something Nene said on Housewives. But yeah, honey. Yeah, we definitely got to get into this bank robbery and get into the future. So
that's it. That's our time, y'all. Thank you so much for watching the Good Sis podcast. Please, please, please like, subscribe, and share this video to all your Black literature buffs. And be sure to follow us on all social media platforms, because we are at the Good Sis podcast, Manna and Chop. That's it. Bye, y'all.
bye.